are some lies in our science books. Taught it for 15 years. Even though I'm not teaching it anymore, I still like to study. It's so many neat things to learn. We're going to cover some of that tonight.
Perception is being managed. We are being steered and guided by a hidden hand.
The whole world has been duped by the media that is not real.
Smart thinking, possible time traveler, smart thinking.
That night, boom, contact memory.
And then, Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I've lost my touch with the ladies.
A lot of people here tonight feel like they lost. You know why?
Now, experts are suggesting that we're in a golden age of shape-shifting reptilian sightings. Now, why is that?
I was, and still am, a huge conspiracy guy. I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research.
It was most definitely not capable of melting steel.
Then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case.
Thought that was the case.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast about conspiracies.
My name is Luke.
I'm Salty.
I'm Cam. Gentlemen, how are we?
Good.
We are good. I think hopefully this is the first of us actually getting back on track.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I'm like, I'm not going to commit to this.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm not committing to this bit.
I'm all in on getting back on track. Don't want to make any promises, but I'm all in.
What's going on? What are we snacking on today, Cam?
This week we are going to be discussing the eating of bugs,
which I think we've talked about before in news shows, right?
Yeah, because I guess this is the thing. Every now and then, some scientist is like, "We've come up with a new delicious way to eat bugs," and all of these conspiracy people are like, "I don't know," and that's it. They're just like, "I don't know." I've seen variations on it. I don't know, but not a great deal addressing the issue, which is that some scientists are like, if we're going to need to transition away from meat-based diets, at some point we will need to have an alternative to the meat, and so one of the things might be bugs. And so here's some bugs that we might be able to eat, and let's just look into healthy ways to eat bugs, because we don't want to suddenly have to shut down all the chicken farms and be like, we didn't come up with anything healthy.
Right. So we're not going down the road of candied bugs.
We can talk about
some good recipes.
Yeah.
Well, so a friend of mine is in the States at the moment, and he sent some photos of like at a counter at a bottle shop or something, and there's a whole lot of like flavored bugs,
right?
Like multiple displays of them, which it seems to be increasingly common in America and Canada, like as in that, as a snack that you're picking up, an impulse buy, instead of a Twix bar or something.
Yeah.
That seems to be what's happening, which I don't think is happening in Australia and New Zealand yet, right? I haven't seen it here. Have you guys seen it?
In Australia, there is a corn chip brand in Australia that's made out of crickets.
Right. I didn't know
that. There was a story maybe last year that it was being sold in like canteens in Australia at schools, and kids were loving it.
Right.
And
were they
packed full of protein?
Well, bugs are used in cooking anyway, right? Like as an ingredient, like a colouring and stuff is pretty common.
Yeah.
So we're all eating them pretty regularly.
Yeah. Red food dye is largely made from like bug shells that are boiled up. Also, okay, so this is the point that I might make about the messaging around this. The people who are saying, look, maybe at some point we'll need to eat bugs, they do need to at least account for the fact that people think that they're Satanists, right? I did see one article where they were talking about eating bugs, and this person was like, look, you eat bugs anyway. All of the food that isn't supposed to have bugs in it has bugs in it. You're constantly eating bugs. So we might as well do it on purpose instead of just all the time. You're constantly eating bugs. Every day you eat at least one bug, which might be true. I think it is. But it's like, you need to soften that messaging.
You guys, I think we've talked about this before, but have you guys eaten bugs before? Like, as in bought, a plate of crickets or something?
No.
Oh, witchetty grubs.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think I've eaten any other bugs besides, obviously, like lots of seafood is a variety of bug.
Yeah, Moreton Bay bugs.
Like the Moreton Bay ones.
I don't love shellfish, like crayfish and things, and partly because of how creepy they look.
Mm.
Also, I'm mildly allergic, but like the creepiness is also a factor.
They're just bugs, though.
Yeah, giant meaty bugs.
Mm.
Do you think they could ever breed a land bug to have that much meat in its tail?
I think so.
Yeah,
some of these bugs can get pretty big.
Yeah.
Like, bugs don't really have meat in them, though, do they? They're just full of goo.
Goo's just sloppy meat, mate.
Goo is just meat that doesn't have the connective tissue of muscle, right?
Yeah.
So we just need to
like
get
even
them
raw seafood bug is still like a formed slab of meat,
Yeah.
Like you cut open a crayfish tail and it's a big like bit of meat.
But that's like if you ever tried to cut one open when you thought it was dead and it's still alive, because I have, and it folds closed really quickly, it gives you a hell of a fright.
Mm.
And it's like a muscular, so I'm assuming it's muscle that is in there.
Yeah.
So I think with the crickets and the other insects, the land ones, we just need to get them bulked up.
Yeah, we need
creatine.
We need them swole.
Get them yoked.
I guess like the leg of like a cricket or a grasshopper would be muscular, but maybe just the carapace and like body part is just where all the goo is.
Mm.
Because I guess if you're a cricket, like if you're a lobster, like a lot of your activities, moving your tail around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Propelling, closing
Whereas,
Luke's fingers.
If you're a cricket, most of your work is in the legs. So what we need them doing is crunches.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And let's turn that goo into something we can get our teeth into.
Yeah.
Let's turn that goo into something we can chew.
Mate, you need to be working for these companies.
Yeah.
Instead of going, you eat bugs anyway, you fucks. So just fucking eat them on purpose. You need to be like, all right, guys, we're going to get these bugs whipped around and fucking turn this goo into something we can chew. You could be a bug personal trainer.
Robbo, you mentioned the convenience store selling candied bugs.
Yes.
I did see, so I think that there's like a bit of a macho element to it, right? So it's not in convenience stores, it's in like liquor stores.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw the photo. I'm not sure if it was in a liquor store or a convenience. I think it might have been a convenience store.
But I think it's sort of like a macho snack, right? Like, I'm tough enough to eat this bug. And
I'll bring out the picture and see if I can get the more info. Sorry, Cam, keep going.
Well, the toughest version of this I've seen is the scorpion lollipop. It's like a little scorpion in a lollipop. And I don't know, that seems too macho to me. But I did see a post on Our Conspiracy, which was like the WEF for trying to make eating bugs seem super cool by getting the cool youth to promote eating bugs. And they had a picture of this guy with a scorpion lollipop. And maybe if you're on Reddit, he looked cool. But he looked like just the fucking biggest loser. But in fairness to this guy, it was a confected persona that he has intentionally gone out to look like a fucking loser.
Right.
But on Reddit, they're like, Klaus Schwab's hired this guy to make eating bugs look cool. And he's got like a scorpion lollipop. And he's like clearly acting like the sort of douche that buys scorpion lollipops.
Just quickly on the WEF, it's funny how quickly cooked people have transitioned into knowing a lot about the World Economic Forum. Like 6 months ago, no one was talking about it. And now if you've got any cooked friends, they're just like, Klaus Schwab and the WEF, they're the ones behind everything. I'm not sure what happened there. Obviously they must have said something, but they've moved on from Fauci and they're focusing on this guy. And like, yeah, my cooked mate in Australia, she's like, why have you suddenly become an expert or a so-called expert on the World Economic Forum? Like, it's never impacted your life, and now you're like all in on hating it.
Yeah. Well,
I've just posted a link to that photo that photo in our chat of the bugs in America.
You know what? I love this packaging.
Yeah, so it's like a little test tube.
Yeah.
But just to the left of the main one is the Lil Bugs. You can eat scorpions, bred and fed for human consumption. Lots of packaging.
Yeah.
Like really plasticky packaging, which kind of feels like you should go, the other way.
I mean, if you're trying to sell stuff good for the planet, yeah, I'd go the other way. I mean, if those test tube ones are in glass test tubes, that'd be pretty cool. Because you can reuse them to put fucking, I don't know,
cocaine.
Yeah, crack rocks in it or something.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say this about the packaging though, right? So we have a picture. We've got cricket snacks and we have Lil Bugs with a Z. Eat scorpions. The cricket snacks says Ento Life something cricket snacks brackets. That's right, crickets. And then above it says roasted, delicious, nutritious, and flavored. And then below the snacks, there's an information box. Why should we eat crickets? And I can see that they're comparing crickets to cows and fish. And I think that they're probably comparing the nutritional value and the effect on the environment.
It says protein, fat, omega-3, and fiber. The United Nations issued a groundbreaking report in 2013 urging everyone to consider eating insects. The population is growing and our natural resources are dwindling. Healthy, sustainable, delicious. 2.5 billion people and 80% of countries already eat them. And I tell you what, bloody mango habanero is a popular flavor.
Yeah, they're sold out of the mango habanero.
Sold out, mate.
Whereas Italian lasagna and lemon meringue... Yeah. There is one Italian lasagna going.
Orange creamsicles not popular. Get that flavor in a beer, mate.
No one's taking cotton candy.
I'm just sort of trying to unpack the flavors in my head. Like, they're really chaotic.
Yeah.
Like, you go jalapeno garlic. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yep. Mexican mole. Yep, makes sense. Cotton candy. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
And then next to that is white cheddar. Like, cotton candy's a sweet flavor. And this is like the display is laid out like this.
Yeah.
And then white cheddar, then Indian curry. What's cotton candy doing amongst those ones?
Yeah.
And then down below, orange creamsicle, mango habanero, Italian lasagna, lemon meringue, sun-dried tomato. Group your flavors.
Yeah.
Like,
I need one more dessert one, and they could have like
a row,
a savory and a sweet row.
Yeah, you could bump white cheddar down to sweet, maybe. Like that's kind of on the border, I think. You have cheese after a meal, so I'm okay with that. And then they've got a better display.
But I guess my point is the cricket snacks, there's an element of apologia to it. Like, they're apologetic about it. And they also go to some lengths to explain why you should do it. Next to it, Lil Bugs with a Z, eat scorpions, ! And then at the bottom of the packaging, it says, double dare you.
But I like immediately below that, it has the warning. If you're allergic to shellfish, you may also be allergic to insects. It's like the dare is daring you if you've got an allergy. Double dare you. If you're allergic to shellfish, try this, you pussy.
Yeah, it's a triple dare now.
What flavor would you guys get?
Out of those ones?
Yeah.
I'd probably go white cheddar because I like a crunchy cheese snack.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to try the mango habanero, but damn, they're sold out.
It's gone. I'd probably go jalapeno garlic, I think.
Mango habanero would be my first choice, hands down. Mexican mole I could probably fuck with.
Yeah.
I like a mole sauce. I make a mole sauce at home, and I'd be curious to know how that goes on a cricket.
Yeah.
Now, what is this shop, though? Because you've put this picture up so we can explain what the shop is, so we can Bellingcat it. So it does look like it looks like a bottle-o, but it's a bottle-o that also has, a row of almond milks and a Darth Vader in the background.
Yeah, there's a Darth Vader in the background. There's in America, I think, depending on states, like...
Is this a bodega?
Yeah, I don't think this guy's in New York. I'm not sure where he was when he posted it.
Oh, well, there's only bodegas in New York. If there's one thing I know from the discourse, is that people outside of New York don't know what a bodega is.
They don't know what bodega is. They don't have shops that sell multiple things. Where else can you get a sandwich and some milk? Who knows? Yeah, so I think maybe it's just like a corner shop that sells, I think, wine and beer. Maybe they don't sell spirits. No, I know that like service stations in America sell bourbon and stuff in some states. Because like I always see posts on like bourbon subreddit where people are, I found this rare bourbon in this random service station in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, depending on the state.
Yeah, looks like next to the scorpions also is like a rub, like a meat rub.
So if you guys saw this, would you pick some up out of curiosity?
Maybe.
Yeah, the messaging on this was definitely better than you're already eating 5 flies legally in your peanut butter.
Yeah. I think I would be more inclined to have a munch on a bug if it had been processed into a corn chip rather than just a fucking cricket. Like, here's a bug. It looks like a bug.
I'm not sure when I want that amount of snack. As
like
in,
a tube of snacks.
Yeah, there's not that much snack in there.
Mm.
Am I, what am I spending my hard earned on a snack and I'm getting, what's that, like 10 bugs at the most?
Yeah.
That's just not enough snack for me.
No. You take one of them, maybe like take the Indian curry, chuck it in a little bowl and chuck some sultanas in there.
Oh, yeah.
Turn it into a bit of a fruity curry kind of bowl of snacks.
Like a trail mix situation.
Yeah.
You could also blend them. I don't know if you guys have ever had Chappie's chips from Melbourne, but a good one was you get the dill pickle flavour and one of the spicy flavours, and then you mix them all up, and you've got a really nice combination.
Oh, I thought you were talking about putting them into a blender and making some sort of awful chip paste.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do like a coating for a chicken or something.
Yeah.
Now, these bugs, how does it say they're processed? Would they be dry and crunchy, or would they be gooey inside? I assume they would be dry and crunchy.
Dry and crunchy for
they're
sure.
roasted. Yeah?
Yeah, dry and crunchy.
Yeah.
I had a plate of, I think, crickets when I was in Vietnam.
Yeah, and this is what I was kind of going to circle around to, is like there's a lot of countries where people just eat bugs because it's part of the culture, right?
Yeah, I think where we were, it was more, this is for the tourists.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's certainly like, roadside skewers of bugs. Is pretty common street food around the world. I'd get into that. I'd get into that for sure. If someone's charring up some bugs on the side of the road, not a little skewer, one please.
Over and have a couple, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
So the whole thing with eating bugs, right, is that at some point we do need to transition away from having a massive methane producing industry that supplies the world's food, right? And so this is one solution to that that's being proposed. I did see, and I think that this drives a fair whack of the opposition to the idea of eating bugs. I saw one post that sort of summed it up, which was they tell us that we need to eat bugs because of climate change, but climate change isn't real, guys. So what's really driving it? They want to dehumanize us. This is all part of an agenda to, make us less human. Even though I'd say it's sort of dehumanizing to say that the millions of billions of people that already eat bugs regularly, including that's on purpose, and almost everyone eating them on purpose and by accident, sort of dehumanizing to say they're less than human.
Well, yeah, there's one of the main sort of memes around it are like rich people are going to want to make you eat bugs while they keep eating steak. And this is their way to keep you subjugated and eating less nutrients while they're still eating the fancy food.
Yeah.
Which it's hard to disagree with. That's probably what's going to happen, right?
Well, this is the thing, right? That's the meme that they're going to dine on steak. But then I saw like a thing with Nicole Kidman talking about her bug-based diet, and they're like, they're getting these rich people to eat bugs but the rich people aren't going to be eating the bugs. But this is the whole thing about how they are, and that they're obsessing over Nicole Kidman, and then they're like, oh, and by the way, Nicole Kidman's dad was, a Satanist pedophile. Because
he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in the Fiona Barnett book.
Yeah, that's right.
The Australian, the pre-Q Australian.
So that's looking at the kind of the origins of this as well, like why this is suddenly a hot button topic, because it is real. Like it's always sort of been around the sphere, right? But it feels like the last 6 months it's really, really spiked.
I think it's really wrapped up in like the Great Reset thing, which is another bit of bad messaging. And there was that quote, you'll have nothing and you'll like it, which was supposed to be, I think, conjuring the idea of a Star Trek-esque future in which we don't have to worry about owning things. But people don't like that so much.
Yeah, it's that ultimate like Zen thing. Of,
You'll have nothing and you'll be happy. People don't concentrate on the being happy thing.
No. I mean, I still want to keep some stuff. I like some of my stuff. I just want to come back to the cricket photo because I just noticed something in that on the snacks. In the bracketed bit below cricket snacks, it's got "That's right, crickets," but there's a hyphen between the word "right" and crickets. That's right, crickets. What does that do, we think?
I think they probably meant to put either like what would go there, a semicolon?
Yeah, semicolon or a comma would probably be right. That's right, crickets.
Yeah, I would have chucked a comma in there.
Yeah. All right, cool.
I think they were just going for a pause.
Yeah. The other part of this is Bill Gates. It's tied in with him buying up a lot of land in the US
to grow his elitist cows.
Yeah, and he's owning all the land, so then they can control the food supply, or he can control the food supply now that he's controlled the world with COVID. And then that'll be, he'll segregate the food for the richies and the poor guys. It's kind of contentious if he actually does really own that much land. Like there are cattle guys that seem to own way more land than him. He owns like a minuscule amount in the greater scheme, but it's becoming a big, scare tactic to point out how much Bill Gates is buying up. But I guess if they think of him as the worst guy, then it makes sense why they'd be scared of it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else to this other than people are just afraid of eating bugs?
I think it's just people are afraid of eating bugs and people don't believe that the climate is changing because somehow, despite being, amazing pattern recognizers and always willing to see conspiracies where there aren't any, the actual conspiracy of, big oil covering up the effects of climate change and suppressing climate science sort of seems to over the top of the head.
There is an article, CBC, what is that, Canada?
Yeah.
Canadian Broadcasting Company or whatever. So there was a big factory in London, Ontario, not the other London that we all know and love. So this tweet went out saying the world's largest cricket production facility is officially complete. A new plant in London ready to produce 9,000 metric tons of crickets annually. That's a lot, isn't it?
That seems a lot.
A lot of crickets.
Because they're pretty light.
Yeah. They pack them in. Whereas London, England, they just produce the other sort of cricket. Anyway.
And is there a thing to is this like a falsehood that like building these massive cricket factories is like way more expensive than farming beef?
I don't think so.
Like, was that a thing? I think I read something about
I don't see how it would be. Would it?
Production for crickets is like way more than the cost of farming. I guess the environmental impact's not as big, but the economic footprint.
Wouldn't that just be like economies of scale where we've been farming cattle for so long that we're really good at it?
Yeah, potentially.
So the efficiency for cost is actually pretty low, whereas this is a new thing, so it takes a while.
I think also in terms of like farming cattle, like you go out into the field and, you lasso one and you bring it back.
Yep, that is how farming cattle works.
To do that with crickets, firstly, you'd need tiny lassos.
Yeah.
And in the same time that you could catch one cow, you can catch one cricket. So it's going to take you, thousands of hours to bring in the equivalent of a cow.
What if, how on Master of the Universe, the movie, there was the guy that shot things out of his knuckles? Darts?
Yeah.
What if you had tiny lassos on your fingers?
So you could do like
8 at a time.
8 at a time, come on.
Yeah,
no
because
one's got
would go sideways.
Yeah.
Wouldn't work.
No.
Yeah.
Unless we hired a bunch of like monkeys to do it. They don't have those opposable thumbs.
16 at a time. Oh, right, yeah.
Phew.
Well, they could do 20 at a time with their opposable thumbs.
Yeah. And 21, mate. They got those prehensile tails.
Well, no, I'm thinking they're dangling from the roof on their tails.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And that way they're not trampling on the crickets and they can...
Yeah.
All right, so we're agreed. We need to genetically modify killer monkeys with lassos that shoot out of their fingers.
Yep.
And their tails. That'll surely be fine. The other little conspiracy I saw around eating bugs is that there are some like weird bug bacterias. There's one called Wolbachia, And I was disappointed that this person didn't take the conspiracy all the way. But Wolbachia is like a bacteria that affects lots of different insects and spiders and different things. And basically it kills off males of the species. But it's all good because they work it out. But this person was like, they're going to do this so that they can introduce like various genetic sequences into our DNA via the bugs. It's like, why don't you just say this is like to just kill off men? Like you had the germ of something great.
And that is a fertile ground is to get the incels and the Jordan B. Peterson fans on side.
Yeah. You had the start of something great, and then you're just like, they could do something with it. That was it. They're like, they could do something with it. It's like, no, just go in.
Did you see this week or last week, they accidentally released some mosquitoes that had the malaria vaccine in it. I think they were trialing them, so the mosquitoes, instead of giving you malaria, they were
giving you the vaccine.
Yeah, but I think they accidentally released them publicly, and it kind of got out. Like that, obviously got picked up as now they're testing vaccines without a consent, basically, which is a pretty fair thing to be concerned about.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're basically sticking people's forearms into a box of mosquitoes. And, yeah. There's a quote here. We use the mosquitoes like they're 1,000 small flying syringes. It's not a good quote.
No. Let's work on our messaging, guys. Come to us. Just run all this stuff past us. When you're considering whether to run this stuff past us, just ignore the stuff about the monkeys. We will give you serious things to say.
Yeah.
Because instead of saying, it's like 1,000 tiny syringes, you could say it's like 1,000 tiny knives that have been dipped in vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's way better. One test subject said, my whole forearm swelled and blistered. My family was laughing, asking, like, why are you subjecting yourself to this? But then they don't explain why she's subjecting herself to this.
No. Well,
I'm assuming she's getting paid.
Yeah, for that cash money.
I'm reading this from Fox News, but I think the story originated on NPR. And obviously the comments here are, this has Bill Gates written all over it, which is true because he's been actively working on this for years, right? Quite publicly.
Yeah.
And then someone replied, unfortunately, you won't be able to uninstall it.
What does that mean?
The study demonstrates that even if you successfully manage to avoid injecting these man-made parasites into your body, the mosquitoes will still spread it to you anyway. Let that sink in.
Yeah, that's the point.
Let that sink in. Yeah, the comments are just the usual cook shit, really. They are pointing people out 1,000. People are pointing out 1,000 flying syringes. It's a bad thing. Be sure to wear your mask to keep the critters out. Anyway,
that's eating bugs.
Coming to it's probably a food safety thing in New Zealand and Australia at this point. It's probably not that tested, right?
Well, yeah, this is why they've got scientists on the case. This is why we hear things about scientists are working on whether it's safe to eat bugs.
Hang on, there is a website. I found one in New Zealand, eatcrawlers.co.nz. They sell chocolate-coated tarantulas.
Mm-hmm.
They sell a little lightly salted insect mixture. Oh, yeah, I'd fuck with that. Lightly seasoned crickets. Blueberry scorpion lollipop. Protein pasta made out of crickets.
Yeah, we have like edible bug shop. Has savory snacks. Jesus, they've got everything on here is sold out. And it's like chili and garlic crickets, dehydrated tyrant ants, cricket powder, tortillas, chips, mealworms with saltbush and rosemary. They've gone heavy on the Australian kind of flavors.
Robbo, you've got a shellfish allergy. Does this mean
pretty mild?
Does this mean we can double dare you into eating a scorpion lollipop?
Hey.
Yeah, I'd eat a scorpion lollipop. I remember when in Vietnam how they've got the scorpion and snake whiskey, and I remember thinking, that'd be a fun thing to buy and like have, and then realizing that whatever night that I happen to drink that would just be an awful decision, and I don't want to have that night, so I decided to buy it. The cricket flour, I just clicked on that because I'm like, maybe I can use that in some bread and make little cricket bread. But it's $13 for 50 grams.
Wow.
See, that's bullshit. And what I learnt from the bad messaging is that if you want bugs in your flour, just buy normal flour.
Yeah. Yep.
There's another shop, circleharvest.com.au, sells a high-protein cricket pasta.
These guys have cricket pasta.
Pasta enriched with cricket protein.
What does it cost there?
Well, it's reduced from $12.95 to $9.95 for 375 grams.
This is bullshit. This is 250 grams. So it's like pasta for two-ish, generous. You might get a little bit of leftovers. $12. It's 90% wheat and 10% cricket flour.
That's like normal. That's normal pasta.
That's just pasta that a cricket fell in.
Yeah, there's so little crickets. 250 grams, like it's twice the price of a normal pasta for only 10% crickets. They're bloody fleecing people here.
Yeah. All right, bug industry.
Get fleeced.
We have some ideas. Get in touch. If people want to get in touch with us,
No,
though,
hang on, I'm not done. Sorry. A lollipop, a scorpion lollipop. Guess how much?
$10.
Yeah, 10 fucking bucks.
Jesus.
Or an ant lollipop or a bloody mealworm. Don't tell me it's costing you $10 to make a mealworm lollipop.
Wait, how much was an ant lollipop?
They're all $10.
No, it can't be the same amount to procure a scorpion as it is to procure a bunch of ants.
What does a chupa chup weigh?
12
grams.
12 grams, yeah.
Okay, so these are 20 grams. So they're pretty big. I don't want this, though.
This place has chocolate, cricket and mealworm chocolates, and it's literally just a slab of chocolate that looks like they've sprinkled bugs on top of.
What does that cost?
$15.
Jeez.
For a slab. I don't know how big the slab is. 80 grams.
Salted caramel scorpions, $12 each. They're not big. 10 grams.
All right, this is an industry that's ripe for disruption, I think.
I just want to make a comment. This isn't the lollipops. There's a headline below the lollipop sale details. Misfits. Due to the nature of the product, we often have lollipops of what we like to call misfits, which we are happy to supply you on a 2 for the price of 1 basis if we have stock available. If you're all about the taste and not how they look, then let us know in the comments, and you might just get double what you're expecting. You need to explain that better.
Yeah.
You didn't. They're just ugly ones, right?
Yeah. And is it
missing a claw, or the claw fucking in the candying phase, the claw got snapped off and it's disconnected from the body or something like that.
Yeah.
Is it the lollipop that's fucked up or the scorpion?
I'd say to be the scorpion, because you want to buy it and be like, look at this fucking badass scorpion in this lollipop.
But this is on the ant one.
How have they stuffed up the ants?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think maybe the lollipop just looks gross. Don't charge me $10 for a lollipop and then put a note saying, "Oh, it might also suck." So it might suck so much that we'll want to give you 2. Should I get some?
Get a scorpion for science.
Free shipping New Zealand wide over $85. I'm not. Well, you could easily
don't do that. Surely you can find a dairy, which is what they call a bodega in New Zealand.
Thank you.
Surely you can find a dairy that sells scorpion lollipops. This is the dairy industry. In my experience, it sells all sorts of fucked shit. Surely they sell scorpion lollipops.
Yeah, we want to start selling some small goods at our bar.
Why don't you sell bugs? You're a small business owner supplying cooked foods.
The media attention alone on that is probably worth doing.
Yeah,
and if getting groups of blokes coming through and go, it's going to cost me bloody $20 for 10 grams of salted scorpions delivered.
Yeah, I might maybe go to the wholesales, Robbo.
That's
I don't know.
$2 a gram.
Find out who's supplying that website, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. This might be why the business is in a bit of trouble. That we're explaining the concept of wholesaling to you.
I mean, I just want to buy one for me.
I don't call Robbo out on the podcast saying his business is in trouble.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Dog you made on the podcast. Cut all that out.
Because I don't have a wholesale connect for salted caramel scorpions. Yeah, your brewery's failing. Jesus Christ, Cam.
What a fucking dog.
Just jumped onto the corn chip website here in New Zealand as well. They're all sold out. The cricket corn chips.
Ah. See, it looks like the cricket corn chips look like they're just actual normal corn chips with cricket dust on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ones they were selling in schools, they were like, these are very healthy chips. These are packed full of crickets.
Right.
Anyway, get on some of those. Wouldn't they go nicely with a nice IPA?
Well, they would, but they're all sold out.
Well, find some.
I can't. I'm looking.
Stop looking on the internet and start looking in cooked dairies. Then you can, the beauty about the dairy is you don't even have to pay for the stuff. You just stuff it up your jumper.
I'm not thieving things, Cam. Stop making me a thief.
If you're a journalist reporting on Robbo selling bugs in his brewery, don't listen to this podcast.
Stolen bugs.
All right. If people want to find us, they can do so on Twitter. We're at Hypothepod. We are on patreon.com/Hypothepod. And thank you to Tammy, our Cooked $33 sponsor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robbo, where can they find you?
Short Jaw Brewing in Westport.
Yep, behind the bar?
Yeah, normally. Actually, every day. Yep, that's me. Behind the bar with some bants and some beers.
Oh, yeah.
Salto, where do people find you?
On Twitch, The Salt.
And you can get me at Sexenheimer on Twitter and my 3CR radio show, Yeah Nah Passaran, Thursdays at 4:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Alrighty.
That's a bloody episode.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't worry about a thing, except if all our world leaders are alien reptilians. I said don't worry about a thing, except maybe the fluoride in our water supply contains mind-altering drugs. Don't worry about a thing, except whether or not Port Arthur was a false flag operation in which to disarm Australia. I said don't worry about a thing. I accept you can definitely hear John Lennon say I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. Ooh, don't worry about a thing, except not only did Bush do 9/11, but he also keeps the planes out in Area 51, which, let's not forget where all of the aliens are. Don't worry about a thing, except Donald Trump is clearly a woman.